Yo, what is up YouTube? I'm back with another EVOMON video, and today I'm going to be doing a full progression guide. I actually got this idea from a YouTuber known as Perp. So we're actually going to go ahead and basically just give you a decent rundown of how I started the game and how I progressed so fast. And I would like to say I'm pretty knowledgeable, considering I was number one on leaderboard for a little bit. Obviously that is not the case now, but yeah, so let's go ahead and just kind of go over the details of each and every single island and what monsters to get to kind of expedite your run. So for starters, this island, I grabbed no one. If you're just starting off in the game, I would recommend you start off with the water type starter, because I mean it's just simple typing. Water type is obviously super effective against rock types, and obviously they're not effective against water types. However, water types aren't effective against it either. You see what I'm saying? And then obviously the third island is fire type, so it'll carry you through the first beginner 3 islands. So that is why I think the water type is like way better. Now completely optional to you, but that's just what I think personally. These monsters on this island I don't personally use. Are they good? I think they are decent, but there are better monsters. So like this guy and this guy over here, the rock monster guy, I don't really think they're worth it. I think you level up your guy to the point where you can beat this pep golem boss, which should be pretty easy considering you're a water type. And then once you're done with that, make sure you guys are also fighting all of these trainers, because they do give you good EXP. Once you're done with that, you can go to Petal Pond. And this is where I liked to capture a bunch of water types, these little clam guys, because they are the only water types that you can catch at the moment. So these little normal type guys, maybe I haven't seen them. I haven't used them really, but from what I know, they're kind of trash. They do know the very overpowered move known as counter, but that's very situational, and I wouldn't really say it's like something you should always go for. Now for these water types, you definitely should try to catch them. Oh, what the heck, I can fly with this guy? Okay, you learn something new every day. But yeah, so basically these water type guys, I would recommend grabbing them and then farming here for a little bit until you have all of them to at least level 20s, or I would say at least level 16s or level 20s. So once you have that, your bubble guy should be around level 25, maybe 30. This is where you should be able to get an adventure suit. I would recommend getting either a legendary, obviously, or like mythic. I will tell you right now, elemental mage is the best class in the game for pure damage. Pharmacist and mediator, as far as I know, aren't really good. Eternal, these ones are good if you get them, but the best one is definitely energy scholar. Champion isn't really good from what I know. Legendary, if you are like trying to get EXP and capture a ton of monsters, Monster Hunter is the best class to use. So now that we covered that, make sure you get every single Lillian quest. There's one on every island. These guys, Mpox, they are, or I mean, what's his name? Litten, or not Litten, you know what I mean. But yeah, so basically they are the best fire types you can get at the moment. But I definitely think you should just skip these guys, or I mean obviously farm them for EXP, but then skip them and try to catch these Levites. To this day I still use Levites on my team. They turn into Lava Rock, which is a very OP monster in my opinion, because he is a rock type fire type, and basically he is probably the best fire type in the game in my opinion, because he can place, like, he can just do the fire type moves, and on top of that he can do rock type moves, and on top of that he can even do normal type moves. So I just think he's the best, one of the best monsters in the game personally. On top of that, he has a trait known as Ember Birth, which is a lifesteal. Basically when he learns burn, he can just heal every single, like every damage amount of the burn, pretty much. He's a very good monster, and I definitely think you should grab him, and he will probably help you progress throughout the entire game, if I'm being honest. But yeah, so the reason I told you to get all those water types is because these trainers are gonna be a doozy. Like, they gave me so much trouble in the beginning, but then once I was out of beta and the full game actually came out, I knew these tips, and I was actually able to kind of wipe the floor with all these trainers pretty easily. You will have to grind levels just a bit. Even though your monsters are super effective, they can still end up beating you by using like rock type moves. But yeah, I definitely think you should grab some Levites. They are very, very good. On to the next island, Amber Acres. Now, personally, I like Dedubud. I don't personally use them anymore. I used them for a little bit, but then I realized they weren't really that good. But now, however, Mudbud, I think you should grab a Mudbud. Why? Because he turns into Dave, also known as Thordlord. Now, Thordlord is one of the best ground type monsters in the game, and on top of that, he is one of the best status effect monsters in the game, because he knows something known as smoke cover, which lowers monsters accuracy by 2 every single time, making it to a max of 10, which lowers their accuracy by 50%. And that is very, very useful when you are in the tower going against a crap ton of monsters where they can just one tap you. So yeah, I definitely think you should use, or I definitely think you should grab a Mudbud, because even to this day I use him. And on top of that, if you guys don't already know, you can use Thordlord to actually 1v1 the strongest boss in the game, or the last boss in the game. But yeah, next up is Autumn Hill. Obviously, these are just a bunch of trainers. You will have to like level up a good bit to actually beat every single one of these trainers. I will probably make a guide on how to actually beat every single trainer in the game, but yeah, you'll have to just wait for that. And if you guys are enjoying these type of videos, please leave a like, share, and subscribe. And I have a Discord down below if you would like to keep up with my updates. But next up, these guys. I was sleeping on Frostelli, but then I realized how good Frostelli actually is. If you don't know who I'm talking about, it's these little guys right here. They end up turning into Frostelli. This is a shiny prismatic version, so yours is going to look different, but this is what mine looks like. My Frostelli is super, super good. This is probably the best status effect person in the game, like hands down, because they have something known as open support, which basically gives status skills have +1 priority, making it so that even if they are faster than me in stats, I have +1 priority, making me go first. So basically, I can always get like a smoke cover down, even if the other guy is faster than me. So that's how good of a like coverage status effect guy he is. So I do recommend grabbing him, because he's also very useful for tower runs. Do I use him for everyday grinding? Not really, but for tower grinds, he is very, very useful, and for beating bosses, he is very, very useful. Now this little guy, he turns into Glycidadel, which I also have named him Midas. This is a shiny prismatic version. Midas is very, very good. Probably one of the best frostbite appliers in the game. He has incredible HP, incredible defense, very, very good damage as well. And on top of that, the more frostbite he has on an opponent, he has a move that basically just makes it way stronger, because obviously every single frostbite that's stacked on, which is a max of 15 or 20, I believe, he can use Snow Lance, which is basically doubles his damage every single time. And if you don't already know, you can actually use him to 1v1 this boss right here. This guy is obviously super weak against ice types, so Glycidadel is the way to go if you are trying to beat the King of Flying. I heavily recommend getting him, because he, like I said again, he is a better ice type than Frostier, in my opinion, when it comes to frostbite. But when it comes to AoE damage, obviously Frostier takes the cake. But I will talk about him in just a second. Let's go ahead and move on to Raven Ridge. Raven Ridge is a very good map, because you get Volcrest. Volcrest is a very, very fast monster. I think the fastest monster in the game. This is my Volcrest right here. He is not a shiny, sadly, but he is prismatic, with a 410 speed without any equipment. And on top of that, I'm not even buffing his speed. So if I were to actually buff his speed, he has a natural stat of 120, by the way. So if I were to actually buff his speed, I think he would easily be able to hit like 500, 600 speed. So yeah, but with him, he's very, very good because he applies something known as bleed. Bleed is a super good status effect, which I would heavily recommend getting Volcrest. If you don't know how to get Volcrest, I would actually teach you in just a second. But over here, you can actually fight these guys known as Chirpy. I don't personally use them that often. In my meta tier list, I did rate this guy top of S tier or A tier. I will like obviously change that now. I don't really use him that often, but he is the best bleed stacker in the game. But however, his stats and overall moves isn't really that impressive. What am I doing? I can fly. But yeah, if you come over here, you can actually take this little like road up here, travel up here, go over here, and then obviously you can do a little parkour, and eventually you will meet these guys over here known as Bluebird. This guy, obviously when you beat him, he turns into Volcrest, so that's how you get him. And I would recommend getting Volcrest. I think he's a very good monster to use. Obviously it's really up to you whether you want to or not, but I would recommend using him. Now, Silent Sands, this is also where you can get your equipment over here. You have to be level 40 for this, though. Tincog, I don't personally use him. I think he's a pretty decent monster because he knows Protect, which is a very good, like, stalling move because you basically take no damage if you use Protect. But it is only 3 PP, so he is kind of limited. But he is a Steel type and the only Steel type in the game, so do note that. This guy is a Bug type. He is fairly decent of a bug type. Let me show off my Tincog real quick. My Tincog, let me see. I have a shiny Tincog. Very cool. Like variation of him. He is pretty decent. I don't really recommend using him, or I don't really recommend like putting everything into him, but I think he's a pretty decent monster. Let me see. Where is he? I have the bug guy as well. Oh, I'm dumb. So basically, this little mosquito guy turns into this guy. I named him Sucker. I actually forgot his real name, but this is a shiny version of him. He is interesting, at least to say. I think he looks very cool, but I don't think he is the best monster to use. I would definitely recommend like holding off on actually getting this guy because I don't think he is that good. He's decent, but there is a better bug type monster. So other than that, let's go ahead and head to Crystal Cascade. So Crystal Cascade, this is where you meet Mirefish, or Gulp, I guess. Gulp is a very good monster. He's a water ground type, and he is a very strong monster. I see a lot of people using him, and I don't personally use him, but I do recommend you use him. But then just be warned, he is double negative against grass types, meaning even if a tiny little leech seed hits him, you have a chance of getting one tapped because that's how much like that's how weak he is to grass type. Now this is Frostlet, who turns into Frostier. Frostier is actually one of the best AoE monsters in the game. He's very good, and in my opinion, I would recommend getting him if you are trying to farm challenges and dungeons. Which reminds me, I actually didn't talk about the King of Flying. The King of Flying and Frostier are one of the best monsters for AoE in the game. AoE meaning like I can hit multiple targets with their moves. Sunder Crane is actually on my meta list. I rated him kind of poorly, but actually reflecting over that, he is the best AoE monster in the game. Just simply because of his overwhelming stats and power and everything else. I think he is the better AoE monster. That's just what I think personally. But I think both of these guys are very good. And Frostlet, Frostier, I only really use him if I'm doing challenges or dungeons. So I would say he is very good to have if you are doing dungeons and challenges. Same with Sundercrane. On to Dusk Town. This is another gym trainer island. However, people don't really some people don't realize that if you actually have Sundercrane or obviously the bug type monster I talked about, the mosquito guy, and fully evolve him, you can actually fly up here or you can actually cheese it with like parkour and everything else. But if you come over here, fly up here, you will find Pumash. Pumash is a very, very, very strong fighting type, and the only fighting type that you can actually get naturally. The other fighting type obviously being in the battle pass, known as Astronite. But I will go over him in just a second. So Pumash is my favorite. It's probably my favorite model for an EVOMON. He is very, very cool. Obviously this is a shiny prismatic version, but yeah, he has the highest fighting type moves in the game, and on top of that he does the most damage in terms of fighting types. He also has a trait known as true damage, where even if they buff their defenses, he can still just ignore that and punch you like as if you never buffed yourself. So I would recommend getting Pumash if you ever go against a monster where like he's a rock monster or something like that. Pumash is definitely the go-to monster. I would consider him kind of a glass cannon because his HP is a little low, but I think it's still like bearable, you know what I mean? But yeah, let's talk about Astronite. Astronite is also, this is a shiny prismatic as well. He is overall a very good monster. He's a very balanced monster. If you ever seen like stat charts like this, I would give him a circle. Because he is good at everything, but he doesn't excel in everything. So he's very good at just like he's kind of a meat shield, if you will. He does good damage, don't get me wrong, but I really only use him to kind of stall time, you know what I mean? Because I have protect, obviously. His defenses and HP is also good. So yeah, that's what I really use him for. I don't use Astronite all too much nowadays, but he is still a very decent monster. Let's go ahead and move to Canyon Oasis. Canyon Oasis. Now, my personal take on this, I see a lot of people kind of misjudge Gempress. I think Gempress is probably one of the single best 1v1 monsters in the game, simply because he has an ultimate where he applies confusion, which for 3 turns overrides any hostile skill attempt with 40 power normal type moves. Basically meaning if he hits you with this confusion, you can only hit him with 40 power normal type moves like scratch until you lose the confusion. However, because his energy is 6, he gets his energy back so quickly that I can just reapply the confusion. So basically, if I'm just faster than you, I kind of just like wipe the floor with you, because I confuse you and then I can buff myself, and then I confuse you again and then I can buff myself, confuse you again, buff myself, confuse you again, buff myself, because this doesn't have any PP, so you can use this over and over and over and over again without fail. So that's what I personally think. That's why I think Gempress is such a good monster in general. And on top of that, he has a move known as Wing Blade. With every use, it gains power. So basically, if I hit him, it's now the move is 120. I hit him again, now it's 140. Hit him again, 160, and so on. So yeah, that's why I think he is personally one of the best 1v1 monsters in the game, and he has definitely helped me. He has definitely helped me go into the tower and kind of just like wipe the floor with a lot of monsters. He is a bit situational, so I would only recommend getting him if you are like trying out the tower and trying to like rise in the tower, basically. Over here, now this guy is I think a lot of people say he's the best bug type. I would say Gempress is the best bug type, but you know, teach their own. I think this bug type is very good because he can apply like poison as well. Let's see, do I have him? I don't actually have him. Oh, I do. Chitleden. So he is a very tanky monster. He does a lot of damage as well, and also his traits: lifesteal 66% of poison damage dealt to foes, kind of like the burn trait that I talked about, except with this one obviously it only affects poison. So basically, if I apply like a crap ton of poison to you, I will constantly heal that poison, and then after that I can just basically hit you and whittle you down with a bunch of bug type moves. So that's why some people like prefer Chitleden over a lot of other bug types. Personally, I think Chitleden is okay. I don't personally use him, but will I start using him? Maybe. But I don't really think you should put your time and effort into getting this guy at the moment. I think there are better options that we like already went over. On to Merkwood. So Merkwood. In Merkwood, these little snake guys, I use these guys a lot actually. In the tower, I used to only have lava rocks who could just like use counter, but the snake actually knows counter as well. He is also known as Vipe Arch. This is a prismatic version. Over here, he actually knows like fatal rebound or counter. And with this, the reason I got him is simply because he's a poison type, so that if someone had a super effectiveness against rock and fire, that I could pull this guy out and basically counter that guy. But yeah, I use him a lot. He's kind of a glass cannon in sorts. He does a lot of damage and he's fairly fast, but he's not the tankiest, you know what I mean? Like he will take a hit, but he can also deal a big hit as well. See what I'm saying? Over here is Tarragon, who is in a lot of people's opinions one of the best monsters in the game, just simply because of its lifesteal abilities. Basically meaning like it has the highest HP stat in the game, I believe. And with that, he can use Leech Seed and Seed Bomb. Seed Bomb basically it restores his HP, and then Leech Seed also does that same thing while attacking the other person. And on top of that, he has a trait known as Prime Form, where if he's at full HP, he takes 60% less damage. So because I'm constantly healing myself, I'm always at full HP, so I'm always taking 60% damage, or 60% less damage. So then I can just buff myself consistently and then eventually one tap the other guy. This is a shiny prismatic, by the way. So yeah, it's up for argument, or up for debate, whether he is the best monster in the game or not. But I definitely think you should get him. He is definitely one of the best like stalling monsters in the game. Now obviously if you're going against a complete counter, he isn't going to be good, but for a majority, he is a very strong monster, and I really think you should get him. But yeah, on to Netherland. So here is where you start reaching the psychic poison type of area. Psychic, this guy, he is a fairly decent monster. I don't use him too often, but I think he is a very good like Psymark placer. So he puts something known as Psymark, and it's a move where basically if you have Psymark on the person, whenever you punch them, it'll do an extra bit of damage depending on how much Psymark is on them. There are definitely better Psymark placers, which I will actually show you in just a second. He isn't really worth it in my opinion. If you're gonna get him, then I recommend getting this guy instead. Now this is obviously a lot of people's favorites. Actually one of my favorite models in my opinion. I named her Ruby, but this is Wispex. She is super good because in her traits, when you apply poison, you also apply 2 stacks of Psymark, which is insane, by the way. So she can just constantly apply a bunch of effects. If you ever wanted to place a bunch of effects, this is the person to do it. So yeah, I definitely recommend using her if you were to ever use like, if you ever wanted a poison psychic type or anything like that. But yeah, so let me just go ahead and use her real quick. She also has a really cool little ride mount animation. But yeah, so I definitely recommend getting her. She's very good for your team. Overall, she's just a very good monster in general. Now on to Rocky Ridge. Now this guy, I heard he was actually pretty good. Let me see if I have him already. Yeah, so Fluffette turns into a pretty strong rock monster, but that's not what really makes him that crazy. It's the fact that he can place Sandstorm as soon as during Sandstorm he gets increased power, and he also has a move where he can just place Sandstorm. Yeah, he can start Sandstorm. Basically, Sandstorm is a weather effect move where every turn he will constantly deal 6% of their max HP. It's a pretty good move and genuinely a really good stalling monster. This little hedgehog guy, I think he's a fairly decent monster. I don't currently have him, but I do think there are better ground types than him. Examples are like Mirefish, in my opinion. He's decent. I don't really recommend getting him because it's kind of a pain in the ass. And the llama, I would recommend getting him if if you are lacking in the like rock types. But like I said earlier, lava rock, with lava rock he can actually already place sandstorm with his ultimate, so that's why I think lava rock is like so good, because he already covers a lot of areas. But yeah, on to Thunder Cliffs. Now in Thunder Cliffs, this is where you fight the big bad boss, and yes, I think you should get him. He is a crazy fighting monster. Sorry, not fighting monster, I mean, like, you know, lightning type monster. And like I said earlier, if you wanted to beat him, this is how you would beat him. So this is obviously my Mudbud, or Thor Lord, who I also named Dave. Now with him, I'm gonna actually show you how you can 1v1 him. I have a video going over how to actually obtain like all the stuff for Mudbud and everything else. But yeah, so over here you can just, oops, I did not mean to have my auto on, but that's fine, I was gonna use seed bomb anyways. So I like to place 3 seed bombs on him so that I will constantly heal, like, because I am his natural like enemy basically. I will not take as much damage as like I should be taking. And then I'm gonna use Hone 2 or like Rally if you have Rally 2. Hone 2 is just a better, it's just a better like rally essentially. But yeah, so once I'm at 30 stacked up for my Hone 2, I can now do Earth Pulse, which basically doubles my next ground type move, and because my ultimate is ground type, I'll end up doing all this damage. So basically now I'll just have to wait for my Earth Fissure to get ready again, and once it is ready, I can just hit him again with another like 1400 damage. And this is how you beat the King of Thunder. Super easy. Obviously if you have a higher leveled Thor Lord than me, then you will probably be able to one tap the guy, honestly. But yeah, so this is just how like I beat him. Honestly, if you have like a level 120 Thor Lord, you should still be able to do this method. But yeah, this is just how I personally choose to 1v1 him. So yeah, that's, I guess, all the monsters I really have for you guys. The reason I told you to get Archapex is simply because he has a move known as Charge, and on switch it does 2 times the damage. So I usually use him whenever I'm kind of farming, because he's always going to do 2 times the damage, even against monsters that he's not effective against. But I think that about covers all of the monsters in the game, guys. If you guys did enjoy, please hit that like and subscribe, and if you guys would please kindly hit that notification bell. I have a Discord down below in my description. If you guys would like to join that, you can keep up with all my streams, updates, and codes and everything else. But yeah, guys, I think that is all for this video. Hope you guys did enjoy, and I will see y'all in the next video. Later!